If you're over 40, you've probably noticed it's just a little harder to stay in shape than it used to be. And guess what? It's not your imagination. Your body is going through a massive, massive shift. But the good news is you have way more control than you think. So we're going to lay out the exact strategic plan to take charge starting right now. So what is really happening under the hood? It's so much more than just a slowing metabolism. We are talking about a fundamental change in your body's most valuable tissue, your muscle. And this process, it starts earlier and it happens faster than most people ever realize. Take a look at this number, 8%. That is the average amount of muscle mass a sedentary adult loses every single decade, starting at age 40. Now, this isn't just about how you look. This is a direct hit to your strength, to your metabolism, and frankly, to your independence down the road. This is the core problem we have to solve. Okay, so to fight back effectively, we first have to understand the enemy, right? So let's dive into the biology behind this muscle loss. It actually has a specific medical name and, thankfully, a very clear set of causes. The clinical term for this whole process is sarcopenia. Now, this isn't some disease you catch. It's a natural, age-related process. The best way to think of it is like a slow, silent erosion of your physical capability, and it's all driven by changes deep inside your cells. But here's something that's arguably even more important: dynapenia. This is the loss of muscle strength and power. And this, right here, is the real threat. Why? Because your ability to actually do things, lift the groceries, climb a flight of stairs, just get up from a low chair, that declines even faster than your muscles physically shrink. Just think about this gap for a second. While we're losing about 8% of our muscle size per decade, our actual strength is plummeting way faster. We're talking a staggering 15% drop by the time we hit 50. This is exactly why you might feel noticeably weaker, even if you don't look all that different in the mirror. So why on earth is this happening? Well, a major driver is a big shift in your hormones. Things like growth hormone, testosterone, and estrogen all start to decline, and they take away the key signals your body uses to build and maintain muscle. This leads to this state called anabolic resistance, which basically means your muscles become kind of hard of hearing. They need a much louder signal from both your food and your workouts to get the message to grow. All right, so that's the problem. And I know it sounds a little grim, but it's really not, because now we're going to pivot to the solution. And to do that, we need a totally new framework for thinking about our muscle. I absolutely love this analogy. In your 20s and 30s, you were busy building your muscle principle. Now, in your 40s and beyond, your job is to protect that principle from the biological inflation that comes with aging. Every single workout, every meal becomes a strategic investment to preserve what you've worked so hard to build. Now, the first part of that investment strategy is your nutrition. To overcome that anabolic resistance we just talked about, the standard protein recommendations, they just don't cut it anymore. Solid research shows that adults over 40 really need to be aiming for about 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight every day. That's nearly double the old standard recommendation. And listen, it's not just about the total amount of protein. The quality is absolutely key. Specifically, you need to get enough of an amino acid called leucine. Just think of leucine as the ignition key for building muscle. If you don't get enough in a meal, about 3 grams is the magic number, the whole engine of muscle growth just won't turn over, especially in our more mature muscle tissue. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. This idea reframes the whole purpose of muscle. It's not just for moving you around. Your muscle is your body's #1 metabolic sink. It literally soaks up about 80% of the sugar from your bloodstream after you eat. So the more muscle you have, the bigger your sink, and the better your defense is against things like insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. So we've covered the nutritional investment. Now, let's pair that with the single most powerful tool you have in your arsenal, the right kind of exercise. So let me be crystal clear here. While cardio is fantastic for your heart, and you should do it, it will not stop sarcopenia. For that, resistance training is completely non-negotiable. It is the only form of exercise that sends a direct signal to your body, telling it to build new muscle tissue and actively fight back against this age-related decline. And we don't need a bunch of fancy machines to do it. The foundation of a truly effective plan is built on 4 basic functional movements: squats, which preserve your ability to stand up; deadlifts, which protect your back and help you lift things; push-ups for all-around upper body strength; and rows to build a strong back and fix that desk job posture. But how you do them really matters now.
See, after 40, our joints and connective tissues just recover a bit more slowly. The sweet spot is lifting in that 60 to 80% intensity range for about 8 to 15 reps. This gives you the perfect signal for muscle growth without grinding your joints into dust with super heavy low-rep sets. It's about working smarter.
Okay, theory is great, but let's make this super concrete. Here is a simple, incredibly effective, and most importantly, joint-friendly plan that you can literally start using this week.
Now look at these exercise choices. A goblet squat is way kinder to your lower back. A trap bar deadlift is so much safer on the spine than a traditional barbell, and incline push-ups take a ton of stress off your shoulders. This entire routine is designed to be highly effective while totally respecting the realities of a 40-plus body.
And the frequency? It's completely manageable. You do this exact workout 3 times a week, just make sure they're on non-consecutive days. That 48 hours of rest in between isn't optional. That's when the magic happens. It's when your body actually rebuilds that muscle stronger than it was before.
So, we come all the way back to that idea of your muscle as a retirement account. Look, the biological taxes of aging are coming for every single one of us. But you now have the investment strategy to not only protect your principal, but to actually grow it, ensuring a stronger, more capable future. The only question left is, how will you choose to invest?